So this
I
is,
know, no, the she just put it.
yes. Okay.
Yeah,
So, in that one, homeostasis, yes, I was talking about to you that this is a limited or one of the aspects of your coordination system. It is not the entire coordination system. So, in this entire coordination system, this is one of the part, and that homeostasis discuss basically only one aspect, that is maintaining the internal environment, right? And there are some conditions which are required to for a living being to remain healthy. These conditions are fulfilled, or these conditions are met by this homeostasis process, right? Yani, those optimal conditions, we will say that homeostasis ensure the optimal conditions for enzymes activity, for the cell function. That is the main part of your homeostasis. That in the homeostasis, enzymes have the major functions. They allow the organisms to survive and respond, to maintain the internal environment. That response can be for external and environment and external and internal changes both. For example, if internal conditions exceed these limits, the organisms may die. This is very crucial condition. For example, if you are not able to maintain the filtration level of the water, if we are not able to filter the water properly in the summer and the winter, what will happen? We can die. Even that organism can die. For example, in the homeostasis are control of the body temperature and control of the body water content. These are two examples. So if I say that control of the body temperature, this is control of the body temperature in the human. Usually, how much temperature do you have for the healthy body? We have this limit of 37 degrees centigrade. The core body temperature is 37 degrees centigrade, but body temperature is tightly controlled, otherwise it would be fatal. The changes are not more than 2 degrees centigrade. That can be fatal because enzymes would not function optimally. Remember this thing. This is very important thing to now in the biology, that for example, if the temperature changes between 35 degrees centigrade to 39 degrees centigrade, this is the upper limit, this is the lower limit. So if there is a 2 degree change, yani this is very crucial na. For example, if you have a system and you want to just check that, or if you want to monitor a system the temperature change, how sensitive those receptors are, they have to control entire setup within 2 degrees, is it?
yeah,
The body must stay coordinated, our body must coordinate the response. So that rise and fall of the temperature should be maintained properly. When the body is able to maintain the rise and fall of the temperature, that is the function of the homeostasis. Now the body temperature is monitored by controlling the thermoregulatory centers, right?
yeah.
They are base, they are in the basis of the brain. Yes, any question?
No,
Okay, so this there is this is very important point, that which receptors are, where are those receptors which control the temperature, or which monitors the temperature of the body, and they are controlled by thermoregulatory center. And where is it located? It is located in the brain, base of the brain. So thermoregulatory center contains the receptors. They are temperature sensors, right? Temperature sensors. And how do they sense the temperature? Beta, do they sense the temperature of the blood? This is very important. That is why the temperature of the blood tells the entire story of your body health. For example, if the temperature, if you have more temperature, yani temperature mean fever, it means some of the enzymes or some of the chemical reactions inside, they are not performed according to their required level, or they are not being performed according to their required requirement. So that is why the temperature is increased. So this is very, very important thing to now. Now I'm talking about the temperature receptors in the skin also send the signal to the thermoregulatory center, and the brain coordinates cooling or heating responses depending upon what is required. Are you getting my point? Cooling and heating means, for example, if your blood temperature is increased, your receptors from the kidneys, they will, or the controller or the filters from the kidneys, they will filter less water, and more of the water will be sent to the body. But if there is low temperature, then the water will be taken out, and that is why your temperature of the body would be, or blood temperature would be increased. So this is how this all works. So control of the body temperature, body water content in the human. This is again very interesting thing, that what we are going to discuss right now, that how to control the body water content in the human. So to control body water content in the human is basically a sort of situation where the water is lost via lungs during breathing. There are two setups where you are going to lose the water. One, when we are breathing, you know, we have some sort of fog once we exhale on the glasses. Do you use the glasses?
Um.
No, but you have seen it that if we exhale on the glass, what happens? We see some fog. We see some sort
Oh
of
yeah. Glasses.
sweating effect. Is
Yeah.
it na?
Yeah.
So that comes out of the lungs. Yani, this is unavoidable. Hmm?
Yeah.
It cannot be controlled. Remember this thing. But the volume of the water lost to in the production of urine, that can be controlled by the kidneys. That is very important thing. That which water control cannot be made, where we cannot make the water control, that is in the exhaling system, or in the lungs, or the skin during sweating. But what can we control? That can be controlled by the control of the water, or water content from kidneys. The kidneys contains tiny structures known as nephrons. Yes, I told you that. What are the receptors in the kidneys, or what is the name of those receptors in the kidneys? They are nephrons, through which it filters urine, which is to be passed in the bladder, or which is to be sent to the blood. Yani water, not urine. So basically, through which they filter that which amount of water is to be sent in the form of urine, or which is secreted out, and which amount of water, how much amount of the content of the water is sent to the
Brother.
to
The
the
brother.
blood. Now, any question, better?
No.
Okay, okay. So the water can reabsorb from the filtrate as it passes along the nephron, specially or specifically from the part of the nephron called collecting duct. Collecting duct. So these all points are very important. That, for example, where do we collect the water, or what is the recollecting? Um, where does this happen? Recollecting or reabsorption of the water. So that takes place in the collecting ducts. That is in the filtrates. Sorry, that is in the nephrons. So these all are the points you have to keep in your mind. If the water content in the blood is too high or too less, then what happens? Too high, then less water is absorbed, and if it is too low, more water is absorbed, reabsorbed. So this is what I told you. earlier, that basically this all content is controlled by this collecting duct or the nephrons in the kidneys. So this is very important to know that basically your kidneys are responsible for your um, water content in the blood, right? In
Yeah.
this case, either large amount of the dilute urine produced or a small amount of the concentrated urine produced. Yani, this is basically linked. If the water is if the content of the blood is sorry, if the water content of the blood is too high, then less water is absorbed more, and the urine will be sorry, in the large amount of the water, and it will be dilute. But if it is more water is absorbed, then this is basically that type of stuff. Yani, this happens. Yani, more water means you can simply say that actually this is a symptom. If you know urine color, urine's concentration, that is a simple, that whether your blood water in the blood content is more or less. So that is basically a sort of situation what we move to or what we understand. Then sorry, a hormone which is called ATH controls this process, right? There's a hormone which controls your ADH. That hormone controls this process. Yes, that a hormone which is called ADH. You have to remember the name. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, this is anti uh, diuretic hormones. I have googled that ADH. ADH is somehow I have to write the name. Sorry, I'm not a regular biology teacher. That is why these difficult terms are very difficult for me to pronounce sometimes. Okay,
Yeah.
ADH. ADH stands for anti diuretic hormones. Okay,
Yeah.
and basically this helps to regulate the amount of water in your body. That's simple, simple, right? What does it do? It helps to maintain the water content in the body. Simple. You got this point?
Yeah.
Okay. The next is just a second. Sorry. Okay, it's okay. Now it is the next page. Sorry, the next page was actually it was not getting in my control. That is why. Now, homeostasis maintains the control coordination in the body under uh, involuntarily automatic control. Yani, this is basically another situation in which we can manage this all setup. And this setup is actually, you know, yes, this is the page again. The page is automatically scrolling. I'm not sure about. Stop. Oh, good. Okay, so here we go. That is in the coordinating response. That means in the homeostasis, what happens? That maintains the controlled um, conditions within the body. It is basically automatically controlled. These conditions are automatically controlled. So that is why it is called automatic control or involuntary control. So this means that the brain stem are non-conscious part of the brain. Brain stem is basically non-conscious part of the brain, and the spinal cord are involved in the maintaining the homeostasis. So that is why you were telling me that we are basically studying this all. So yeah, this is so you don't consciously maintain your body temperature. It is unconsciously or automatically controlled. And you, it is not in your control that okay, I want to control my body. Yes, I can able to do that. I will be able to do that. No, you can't. So these are all effects which are basically maintained here. So these automatic control systems may involve nervous responses or chemical responses like hormones. Yani with hormones. So there are two type of automatic control. Yeah, which are those two automatic control systems? They involve either nervous control or chemical control, nervous process, nervous response, or chemical response. Got it?
Yeah.
All control systems that carry out coordinated responses are following. For example, yeah, we have discussed that all. A stimulus, a receptor, a coordination center, and effector. So these all are basically the parts of your coordination system or homeostasis level, right? Whatever that is a stimulus must be there, right? When the stimulus will be there, definitely our receptor should be there to detect it. And when the detection detector is there, sorry, when it is detected, the coordination system should be there to give some commands. And that command, yani in that coordination center, what are included? Brain, spinal cord, and pancreas. These three are the main three things in your coordination center. Then in the receptor cells that detects the stimuli and okay, which
Yes.
receives and processes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Any question?
No.
Okay. So an effector is basically a muscle or a gland which brings out that response, yani which carries out that response to restore the optimal level, right? For example, as you're in the system, there are several response yani effectors which affects the system, which they carry out the process. Let's say here in this diagram, if you see in the starting, and if I just start with this in the stimulus, did you notice what is happening?
Um.
A blood contains low water volume, high salt concentration in the blood. This is what this is a stimulus. It is basically a sort of change that had taken place. Blood contains low water, right? Where it is, yani this is very interesting thing. Your blood, wherever it is, it would not be detected, but when it will reach to the brain, it would be detected. Oh yes, what is in actually your brain is so strong machine. It analyze each and every blood cell, right? So that is the stimulus. So what will be the receptor? What receptor will do? And osmoreceptors in the homothalamus of of the brain, they detects the water level. So you have to recall this, that what are the what is the name of the receptors which detects the water level? They are osmo means that is basically related to the water, and they are in the hypo thalamus part of the brain, so they detect this, and they are called the receptors. So this is the job of the receptors, this is the stimuli. And next is what? The pituitary glands. These pituitary glands releases the hormones. So this hormone ADH is basically used, that is an effector. So this then controls more water is reabsorbed by the collecting duct in the kidneys. This is the response. So you must know the difference between stimulus, receptor, effector, and response. Okay, this is basically the part of the coordination system. So you got that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, this all is done. Less water is lost in the urine. Your bladder will be now, the bladder will be having less urine here. Okay. That urine bladder and blood water level returns to the normal. So this all is really, really interesting phenomena. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just give me a second. Okay, so moving on, the next part, what I have to discuss with you, that is, yeah, the response to the stimulus in the plants. So, what these plants do actually, the plants also have some coordination system. They also have to respond to the stimuli to survive, and the plants are able to grow the response into certain stimuli. For example, if you remember, I told you about the sunflowers. They they deflect themselves towards the sunlight, and all the plants, they grow in the direction of sunlight. Are they travel? Are they the roots and the shoot? The roots, they grow in the direction of gravity, and the shoots, they grow against the direction of the gravity, but they grow in the direction of sunlight. So this, that can be either a positive response, that can be a negative response. So it depends. Okay, so for example, the plants needs to be able to grow in response of the light. That ensures that the leaves can absorb light for photosynthesis. This is what, this is the reason, this is basically the objective. So here, in that objective, what are the main receptors? So they also need to be able to grow in the in the response of gravity. As I told you, that they have different responses, and they have to grow in the response of gravity. So the, to ensure that the shoots grow upwards and the roots grow downwards. If a plant is invertedly grow, yani the shoots are down and roots are up, so it is basically not naturally possible. So that is why, what do? We consider that yes, all these responses are basically according to the situation, I mean according to the responses. So the directional growth responses made by the plants in response to the light and the gravity, they are known as tropism. What do we call them? They are tropism, yani the directional growth. In that, that is why I was saying that growth is towards the stimulus, it is positive tropism, and when the growth is away from the stimulus, it is negative tropism. Lida, is it clear, better?
Yeah.
Okay. So that is why I was talking to you that these tropisms are basically of different natures. For example, here we go. That is the geotropic, phototropic responses of the plants. Geotropism and phototropism. Geotropism means they have to respond the gravity, and phototropism means they have to respond the light. Okay,
Yeah.
here it is mentioned. Okay, the shoots grow upwards, yani they have positive phototropism, but negative geotropism.
Yeah.
Got it?
Yeah.
So, for example, if I say that in a plant the shoots are growing up and the roots are moving down, so this is basically a sort of the that is the gravity, and this response is positive geotropism. This is positive geotropism and negative phototropism, whereas in the shoots it is positive phototropism and negative geotropism. Okay, it is positive phototropism and negative geotropism. Is it clear to you?
Yeah.
Very good. So that's what we have. This is the table which will help us out to understand this all. Okay, is it clear to you?
Yeah.
Here I have mentioned all these points which I have explained to you. They all are written here. Okay,
Mm.
is it clear to you?
Yeah.
Okay, now this is the table which will help you out to understand the basic concept of uh, basically the tropism. Yes, geotropism and phototropism table. The light and gravity, these stimuli, they you have to basically consider these all. The light causes phototropism, gravity causes geotropism. The definition, what is the definition of these two? That growth towards or away from the direction of the light source, and growth towards or away from the source of gravity is geotropism. And I told you that what is the positive response? Growth towards light is positive phototropism, and growth towards the gravity downward is basically positive geotropism, whereas growth away from the light is negative tropism, and growth away from gravity is negative geotropism. Got it?
Yeah.
Here, these all are done. I mean, I hope that this would be clear to you. This was basically what we have discussed earlier, but I hope that now it would be confirmed and now it is solid. Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. So in the in this all we have discussed about this all, but what is the function of the axon and what is the function of these all in the role of phototropism. So in these plants the auxins are basically those, they conform or they perform or they provide the cell divisions, right? The plants produce, here the plants produce the plants growth regulator, right? This is again important. The plants growth regulators, they are the similar as the hormones in the animals, right? The axons are the coordinators and controllers of the growth of the response in the phototropism, right? For phototropism, the they are basically the receptors are called, what is the name of the receptors? Axons. Axons are mostly made on the tip of the growing leaves. So where the cell division occurs, and where the cell division occurs, what do we do? The important points that only region behind the tip of the shoots is able to contribute the growth by cell division, right? And the cell elongation. Yani, this is basically very important thing, that which region of the shoots contributes in the growth by cell division. So only the region behind the tip of the shoot, right?
Yeah.
So axin stimulates the cells in the region elongate, they get larger, and more axons there, and that is why it becomes faster. And then so for example, there is some sort of even distribution rate, and that is why for the same rate, what happens, they are either diverted towards the light, they elongate themselves towards the light, or they move away from the light. So this is basically that diagram which is related to positive tropism. So this is the axons are the mates synthesized in the tip of the shoots. Yes, this is how, this is basically the function of these axons. Now these axons are shifting themselves, strong directional light is there, so they shift themselves in the response of this strong directional light. Axons diffuse away from it towards the shaded side. And what happened now, they have grown, that uneven growth is caused by the uneven distribution of axons. This is basically that you have seen some of the plants, they move or they grow so straight, but some of them are just little bit tilted and not regular. So this is the reason. So axons will increase the growth of the cell in the uh, m- uh, in the meristems, that so it will cause the shaded side to grow and elongate faster than that of the side that is in the light.
Yeah.
Okay, so I hope that mean what we have recapped, it will be fine, and you have understood this all. We have recapped this all stuff. Now in the next lecture, inshallah, I will continue this, the nervous home and the hormonal controls. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sending this file to you. No, I have already sent it, I think so. Is it not?
I don't know.
Yes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम. जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम.
Um.
हाँ, इसको चाबी दे दे, मैं बस आता हूँ थोड़ी देर में. नहीं नहीं नहीं, कोई नहीं, बस ये मैं आता हूँ थोड़ी देर बाद, मुझे 1 घंटा लग जाएगा आप तक पहुँचते हुए, ठीक है? हाँ हाँ, दे 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 दे. ठीक है. ठीक ठीक. Okay, Alida, sorry, I got a call. Actually, my car is outside on a filling station, so I could not go back to collect it. I
Uh-huh.
was in the way back to home, so I just put it there, and I came back for the classes. So that is why I have to go back. So is it fine till this
Yeah.
point? Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay. So inshallah, see you then, and please recall these points from the notes. In the next class, we will be discussing about the hormonal controls. Okay.